Morning, everybody. How are we all doing? Happy Monday. No, is it? No, it's the 31st today. It's not quite a new month. Not quite April the 1st. Morning, Jack. Morning, Soul Trader, Chris, Paul, Danny, Evil, Joe, Marco. How we doing? How many got in here? 25. Not too bad. Yes, so can anybody remember how to do this trading thing? I haven't done it for a week. What we're going to do today is usual stuff, go through all the news coming up this week, have a look through all the FX pairs, see where everything is. Morning, Virginia. See how everything is going, what happened last week, basically, because I wasn't streaming last week. So got lots done last week. Still got a massive list of stuff to do. Huge list of stuff to do, but I got quite a bit of stuff I wanted to get done. So I haven't managed to get any further on the stock index hedge modifications that I wanted to do. That's kind of next on the list. So going to be working on that this week. I've also got a new breakout strategy that I've been trading, which is doing very well. Just seeing what the markets are doing this morning. Excuse me. Breaking down on the DAX and the FTSE. So we'll see how we go on that one this morning. Doesn't seem like there's a lot of volume this morning. It's the end of the month today. So it's also end of quarter. So be prepared for some potentially large moves today. So end of month. We quite often get quite a big volume coming through as banks and institutional traders are balancing books, getting profit banked basically ahead of end of quarter and end of month. So the market moves in monthly and quarterly cycles, which is what these moving averages are showing, although this isn't really moving anywhere. So these are the monthly and the quarterly cycles. So it is end of quarter today, and we do sometimes get some very big ADR days coming in as they dump a load of orders to get the profit in. And basically, that's what they used to pay for their Ferraris. So, right. So ADRs today, there's nothing so far. RSIs also not an awful lot. We'll have a look through those in a second, but we'll start off with the news. So this week, obviously, clocks have changed. So if you're using the opening range breakout, EA, SIH, EA, etc., you need to check your charts to make sure that you've changed them. So my charts, this is with Global Prime. The open was at 11 o'clock last week. Now it is at 10 o'clock on my chart. Okay, so just be aware you've got to change that. Breaking short on the FTSE this morning. So yeah, 10 o'clock is now my open. Yeah, so just make sure you change those. Obviously, it's too late now if you haven't done it because the market's just opened. But yeah, you have to just basically change those inputs from 11s to 10s. So obviously, bear in mind that is the main thing that's happened this weekend. Lost an hour's sleep. There's news today. The only thing we've got today is the CPI for Germany. That comes out at some point today. There's 6 states releasing their figures. It tends to be drip fed to us and comes out somewhere around about 10 o'clock typically or before. So this is one of the most important numbers for Europe. Obviously, Germany and France make up the vast majority of the European economy. So the CPI numbers in Germany are very important. We are forecasting a drop, which should be bearish euro. But we'll see what happens when that comes out. That's the only news today. There's nothing affecting the US at all today there. We've got the Aussie rates coming out tomorrow. They are not dropping rates. Well, they're not planned to drop rates. So we'll see what happens with the press conference tomorrow as to whether or not they are planning to drop rates moving forward. If you look at the interest rates, Aussie are up one of the highest, obviously, at the moment. We've dropped, obviously, in New Zealand down to 3.75. So they're basically one economy, really. But yeah, so that's quite an important one tomorrow. There might be some big movements on the Aussie in the morning. Morning, Peter. Morning, Mark. We've got the Euro CPI flash estimate. That's orange because typically that's what we're interested in. So this will just be, usually this will mimic whatever that's done. So it's not as important news-wise. We've got PMIs tomorrow and JOLTS for the US. Sorry, yeah, tomorrow for JOLTS and JOLTS for the US tomorrow. So that's going to be fairly big movement on the US. It's non-farm payroll week. So Wednesday is ADP non-farm payroll. Then we've got the unemployment claims on Thursday and the Swiss CPI. So this Swiss CPI, they've dropped the rates again in Switzerland. We're now down to 0.25. They haven't ruled out going to zero and negative interest rates. If that inflation figure does in fact come out at 0.1, it's going to put pressure on them to drop down to zero in the next meeting. And if it goes negative, there is a very high probability they will drop down to zero. So the Swiss franc tomorrow, on Thursday, when that comes out, we could have quite a big drop on the Swissy, so everything popping on the Swiss. I've got US dollar Swiss longs on at the moment, so I'm kind of hoping that does come out at a zero. But yeah, so that's basically the main news on Thursday. Obviously, we've got the services PMIs, which follows on from manufacturing. So again, more movement on the US planned, but obviously Friday is the big one. So it's the unemployment rate for the US and unemployment rate for the Canadian dollar. Unemployment looking like it's a problem in both. So again, this is kind of holding the US back in dropping those interest rates. So if we get a number above that, it's likely to rally the US dollar. And if the CAD gets the positive, which it's forecasting, that will help rally it again. So potentially this week, at the end of this week, we've got some serious US dollar movement potentially coming through, which could be very bullish. So that's your week of news. Last week, I'm not going to go through everything that happened last week, obviously, because it'd take forever. There wasn't actually a massive amount last week. So if we look at something like the pound US dollar and look at last week's price action, as you can see, we didn't really go anywhere last week. It's just sideways. We are stuck. So we are completely stuck. I'm still holding these shorts. I was going to get out of this last week. We had a spike up. I wasn't watching when this spike happened last week, but it took me back into drawdown on it, and then we came back out of it very, very quickly. So this level here is holding very, very, very nicely. If this holds again today, I think there's a good chance we're going to test this low and then break down, but we'll see what happens. But last week, very, very little movement anywhere. It was very, very, very sideways week. So as you can see, there's the Euro US that just not really going anywhere. So yeah, it's a funny old week last week. So we'll see what happens with all the news we've got coming up this week. But market seems to be kind of stuck at the minute, stabilized. So there was obviously talk about more tariffs last week. We've got the new, oh, that's new. We've got the new motor tariff imports into the US. The 2nd of April, which is on Wednesday, is when all the next round of tariffs actually go into effect. So there's a hell of a lot of potential noise coming out of Trump this week to do with that. So yeah, as usual, it could be absolutely anything. Trump won't rule out third term. Says there are ways to do it. Yeah, it's called being a dictator. It's what Putin did. I'll change the rules so I don't ever come out of power. Bloody hell. Anyway, the main sort of thing that happened last week, obviously, is JD Vance going over to Greenland and saying that they're going to take over Greenland. So, yeah, I don't know what the hell's going on in America, but I'm angry and pissed off at Putin, Trump said. He said pissed off. Really? Ooh, interesting. Yeah, so obviously, as usual this week, because we've got the second round of tariffs coming in on the 2nd of April, there is potentially a lot of movement. TP hit short on FTSE, with clean break on the DAX. Just see where we are target wise. Nothing. I'll just let it go for the partial there. Let's have a quick look at the FTSEs. We're at new lows, so I'm just going to let those run today. It's locked in, trailed, can't lose. So another day, another dollar. This is the opening range breakout EA version 3. Obviously, killing it at the moment. Had 2 down days last week. Very disappointing. Look at that. That's the P&L you want, isn't it? Green week, green week, green week, green week, green week. Green. Be nice if we can get these two knocked off. So I don't think I've ever had 100% green dashboard. Maybe I have, but it'd be nice to get rid of those reds. So if we can get 4 days of straight, so not one, we want 1, 2. Today's green anyway. So 1, 2, yeah, another 3 days of green. Be lovely, wouldn't it? We will see. Right, so yeah, clean breaks to the downside today. FTSE and DAX. SIH, not so green at the moment. This is a new account I've just started up for the SIH. Did a little bit of a loss last week. Hedged again. Get the open, the pre-markets. The trouble with the SIH at the moment is the pre-markets, both hedges today. Is that a hedge? Oh, no, that's a clean break. So I've got a clean break there on the DAX, but a hedge on the FTSE. It's been really whippy at the open. The first 5 minutes over the last week, as you can see, have been very whippy on all the opens. So I've had quite a few hedges, unfortunately, but only takes 1 day to get all that back. So it's just a case of waiting for something to go clean break. We've had a bit of a rocky ride. Right, morning nav. So there's the clean breaks today on the opening range breakout strategy. The FX I'm going to go through in a second. News we've already done, so that's all good. Got a strong yen at the moment by the looks of things. So today's plan, just basically go through all of the FX pairs, just have a look at where everything is. I don't think there's a lot we can really do with analysis today, because last week was very, very, very sideways. So we've kind of reset. So if you look at the RSIs at the minute, we've got some extensions on the hourlies, but as you can see, they're all yens. So it's the Aussie yen, Swiss yen, CAD yen, New Zealand yen, US yen. So as that strength meter just showed, obviously we've got a very strong yen at the moment. So those are your RSI extensions. Long opportunities on those, basically. For the 4 hours, you've just got the CAD yen, New Zealand yen, and US yen. So again, they are all 4-hour RSI extensions to the downside. That one's not extended. Is that a different RSI? Oh yeah, I've got 14 on there. That's why. So extension there, obviously. So there's opportunities for longs on all of these yens at the moment. Market structure on the US dollar yen, as you can see, potentially shifting back to the downside, but we'll see what happens. Obviously, the US has got a lot of news this week. So the only extension you've got that is not yen based this morning is the Euro New Zealand, which is there. So that's your 4-hour RSI extension on the Euro New Zealand for a short. You've missed it, unfortunately, already. So drop down M15, M5. There's your reversal alert, literally just gone in last 15-minute candle. So that's just broken structure to the downside. 5 minute, you would have had it earlier this morning. So there's a reversal alert there for a short on Euro New Zealand. We have got the CPI number this morning, though, for Germany. So just be aware that if that comes out higher than expected, we're going to get a rally on the euro today. So might be worth waiting on that one if you haven't already taken it. But very nice potential pullback into propulsion look. So there's a good ADR's worth of movement on that if it's going to find support to the downside there. Right. Just something over there. Just pulling back at the moment on both indices. Just want to see if the open holds. Yeah, looks like we've got some bearish price action coming in here. So there's a propulsion gap there. which they seem to be adding into. Sec. Oh no, I don't want to do that. Right. So yeah, so we'll go through all the FX pairs. If there's anything specific you want to look at, let me know. If there's anything specific you want to discuss, let me know. Hopefully everyone's getting on well with the new opening range breakout EA. As a couple of people have said they've had some weird anomalies, but I'm not quite sure what they are. Can't really figure out what they would have done. There was an instance last week where a couple of people said they had 2 trades taken on, I think it was the NASDAQ, took 2 trades short, but at different times, it seems. So I'm not quite sure how it could have done that unless you had 2 copies or 2 charts on NAS open. But I'm waiting for some more information from people at the moment, but I can't really seem to get any. So we'll see. But I've been running this now for over a month. No problems whatsoever, personally. So it all seems to be working. Nobody's really mentioned any major issues. So pretty stable, which is good, which is what we want. Right, so FX, let's start at the top with the Aussies. So I've set up now on my account these pairs. Okay, so I am now trading just 7 pairs. So I'm trading Aussie New Zealand. This is position trading, by the way. Aussie US, Euro CAD. No, sorry, that's not Euro CAD. That's Swiss yen. Should be FJ. Euro CAD, Euro pound, Euro Swiss, and the pound US dollar. Okay, so that is basically my position trading portfolio. So what I've decided to do is scale back my portfolio a little, because I'm going to be introducing some new strategies which I'm trading, which are actually running at the moment. But I'm just scaling back the position trading side of things at the moment to make sure that my exposure is kept low. So the last quarter basically has been very squeezy, as we know, and I got very overexposed on the euro, which cost me a lot. So I've decided to scale back. So the reason I've picked these pairs is, if you go back to what we covered in the live room before I went for my week break, we looked at correlation between currency pairs. So what I've decided to do is pick these 7 pairs because there is no correlation on them. Yeah, so they are completely independent movers, basically, compared to all the other pairs. So these are the only 7 pairs, really, at the moment that do not have weekly correlation, which means that if something takes off in one direction, I'm only going to really have one thing taking off in one direction, because the others are all going to push each other. So what I've got here is exposure to commodities. I've got exposure to commodities there and exposure to commodities there. Yeah, so those are my commodity exposure pairs and Aussie as well. Sorry, not the US, the Aussie. I've got US dollar exposure on twice, Aussie US and pound US. So basically this is commodities exposed against the US and services exposed against the US. I've got euro exposure in 3 forms there as well. I've got safe haven exposure in the Swiss and the yen and an individual Swiss. Yeah, so if there's any safe haven runs, these 2 are going to benefit from it. I've got 3 euro exposures on. Basically, that's the only way I can really get exposure on the pound as well, because I wanted a couple of exposures on the pound. But the way that I've got these set up with these 7 pairs basically means that I'm not going to get overexposed on anything really. The euro I could slightly get overexposed on, but everything else means that I'm going back to really what I had previously running, which was the 2 currency rule. So I've decided to settle on these. And what I've decided to do is switch to the 75-25 RSI. So basically I want some fairly decent pushes before I start getting into any opportunities. So I'm not looking to bank a lot on this account. I think I'll probably be looking to make somewhere in the region of 5% a month out of it. That's all. Because I've got other methods which are bringing in better returns at the moment. So with volatility, with all this volatility we've got with Trump at the minute, it's very difficult to know what anything is doing. Fundamentals are playing a lot less importance at the moment in movement, because obviously Trump is upsetting everything. We've just had the budget in the UK, and Rachel Reeves has put into place everything that she thinks is going to help. And then literally within 24 hours, he announces tariffs on car imports, of which Jaguar Land Rover in the UK is £400 million of imports, which has just gone up by 25%, which has completely wiped out her budgetary plans. So there's no country at the moment on the planet that can forecast accurately. Just stopped out on the trailing stop on the FTSE there. There's no country that can plan anything fundamentally at the moment. We don't know what is happening with tariffs moving forward. If they start to get aggressive and aggressively try and take over Greenland, for example, we don't know what the rest of the countries of the world are going to do. Norway are involved in that. They are a NATO country. So, that drags us into a conflict potentially with the US. There's so much going on in the world at the moment. And obviously we've got the Russia-Ukraine thing still. It's impossible to fundamentally predict anything. And the central banks at the moment are in absolute turmoil because they don't know what to do. The Fed don't know what to do. So short-term volatility is much more effective at making money at the moment. Hence things like the opening range breakout strategy absolutely killing it, because we are getting so much quick volatile movement everywhere. Lower time frames is really where you want to be with breakout strategies really, and trend strategies to a certain extent. But if you look at last week's price action, last week you wanted to be mean reverting, but it's just taking off all over the place, and there's no directional bias. Moving averages are pointless at the moment. Oscillators to a certain extent are incredibly accurate at predicting mean reversion, but things can obviously go into very large squeezes. So hence dropping down that exposure to make sure that if we are going to go into a squeeze, I'm just going to sit and hold on through the squeeze. So I've got all drawdown control turned off at the moment on the EA as well. So I'm not doing any automated drawdown control. I will manage drawdown control myself. There's no aggressive drawdown control automated either. I'm not taking any ADRs at the minute. It's just RSI mean reversion, and I've expanded my spread filters as well. So I'm now using 10 swap filters. So I'm now using 10 as my swap filter, which basically means that there's very little I can't trade out of these pairs. So if we look at each of these individually, Aussie New Zealand is 760, so I can trade that in both ways with 10. 490, that was absolutely fine anyway. Aussie US. Swiss yen, I can't short the yen, so I will only long against the yen. So Swiss yen long, I haven't got any other yen exposure on at all. That's the only exposure I'm having on the yen, so I will only go long Swiss yen. Euro CAD exposure in both directions. Euro Swiss, I will not short Euro Swiss, long only. So if you look at what I've got here, I've got long only on Swiss yen and long only on Euro Swiss, which means I have long and short exposure on the Swiss franc. So this one will go long, meaning it's shorting the Swiss. The other one goes long, meaning it's longing the Swiss. So I've got dual exposure on the Swiss franc in both directions. Euro pound can trade in both directions, and the pound US I can trade in both directions. So the swap filters basically allow me to trade pretty much everything that happens on these 7 instruments. And there's no real reason to add any more instruments, because all you're doing when you're adding more instruments at the moment is you're adding overexposure, because everything else has got more than 60 to 70% correlation with another pair. So there's no point, for example, in trading the New Zealand dollar, US dollar, because those are over 80% correlated. So if I go long Aussie US and go long New Zealand US, I'm going long twice on the same instrument. It's slightly different, but if something pushes in commodities or something pushes in US, for example, both of them are going to do the same thing. So there's no point having that extra exposure on. Obviously, if they move nicely, I make double the profit. But at the moment, I'm more interested in reducing exposure and reducing risk than increasing profit. So there you go. So that's what I've done with those. I'm going to stop out on the DAX short. That was close. It's funny, isn't it? You got your spread in there. It hits there. Oh no, it's not. Sorry, that's the stop. That's the stop for that long order. That's the stop for the short order. That's right. I thought, like, why have I not been taken out on that? It's because it's the wrong stop. We'll see what happens. So I might stay in that. You never know. Not a lot happening, is there? It's dead today. H1 RSI with M5 entry, yes. Yeah. Wasn't expecting you back until April. That's tomorrow. There's no point in coming back on a Tuesday, is there? Am I right in saying your S&P strategy has triggered off the... am I right in saying your S&P strategy has triggered off the 4-hour time frame? What S&P strategy is triggered off the 4-hour time frame? Is the entry 30-minute market reversal alert? I don't know. Pass. It'll probably say on the blog post. I don't know. You could use the 30. I mean, your entry time frame is irrelevant. So on the S&P, I haven't got any. I've got the S&P on this broker. But yeah, I mean, 4-hour. You can either trade daily or 4-hour extensions. So I haven't got an S&P one I can show you, but yeah, 4-hour RSI extensions. And then get in on a low time frame reversal alert. If you use the 15 or the 30, it doesn't really matter. If you with a 30-minute time frame, you've got 2, 4, 6, 8 candles basically on a 4-hour. On the 15, you've got twice as many, obviously. So you're probably better off using the 15 for the reversal alert, because what you might find is that you don't get those extensions on the 30-minute, because by the time you get a reversal alert on the 30-minute time frame, it may well have come out of extension, which means that you're not going to get the entry. So with the market reversal alerts EA you will do, but with the position trader EA you won't. Depends how you got it set up though. I mean, there's lots of different ways to set it up, isn't there? So if you're using the position trader EA to do the strategy, you can have the last closed candle beyond the RSI level set to false, and that will get you in. But if you set it to true, it needs to be closed down there with the RSI. So it's, I don't know, horses for courses. That's why I asked the 30-minute. It seems too late. Yeah, 30-minute and daily, probably. So if you're using the daily time frame, you've got a lot of 30-minute candles in a daily. So, you know, there's no right or wrong. What I would say is test it. Yeah, so test H4M30. Do a back test for a year or two on H4M30, and then do the same back test on H4M15. See what the difference is. You'll probably find there's a lot less entries, because it will need to be a lot more extended before you get an entry on M30. So, But again, that's not a bad thing, is it? The more extended it is, the more likelihood the trade's going to work. So you're just going to get less of them. It's the sweet spot, which is always the contentious issue with any kind of swing or position trading strategy. Which time frame do you use, and and how extended does it need to be? If you choose the 70-30 RSI extensions, you're going to get a lot more signals than if you choose the 80. There's only one signal on the 80. Look, there's two. There's one behind my head here. Yeah, there's two signals on the 80 RSI there. However, the 70, take your pick. Yeah, but I mean, in this case, all of those 70s worked, but and so did the 80. But you know, on most pairs, you will find a lot of the time the 70 doesn't work as it accumulates and then it pushes off. But the 80, if you'd have waited for it, would have meant you wouldn't have taken that trade. The 80 RSI, 80-20 RSI, regardless of which RSI you use and which time frame you use, the 80-20 RSI extension is probably, I would say, the most reliable condition indicator there is available. You're not going to get many signals. This is a daily chart. Going back to 2023, you've had two signals with 100% accuracy. Yeah. If you put your mortgage on that RSI extension there and that RSI extension there, you paid your mortgage. Simple as that. On a 70 RSI extension, you got in short there, it continued to push. You got in short there, that one worked out. You got in short there, it didn't really get very far. You got in short there, that probably worked out. Shorted there, it came down, but then it went back up again. It didn't give you a signal before it went down. Yeah, but the 80, pretty much without fail, will work every time. You're just not going to get many of them. And then the time frame you enter on is irrelevant, really. It's just, you know, the lower the time frame, the quicker you'll enter. So the more heat you'll take. But you do run the risk of going up a time frame to not getting an entry at all, which will be annoying. So if you're using a very high extension on RSI above 80-20, I would say go in on M15 because you want to make sure you're in on it. And if you have to take a little bit more drawdown for a couple of days, so be it. Drawdowns just trades waiting to play out, aren't they? 4 hour, you drop down, you got an 80 there, which didn't work out. Got an 80 there. Not there. 80 there, which didn't work out. I mean, they don't work out first time every time, but they always work out. But if you know, because there's a massive move. That is the first leg. If the first 80 extension is the first leg, you can be sure that you'll only get one more leg 90% of the time. Yeah. So by the time that came out of an 80 extension, you're off. Plenty of opportunities to get out of them. So, don't know. Do some testing. Always test. Right. Aussie CAD. So we'll start off with the Aussies. So yeah, Aussie CAD last week, no movement whatsoever. So this week we've got news coming up on, when is it? Tomorrow. Tuesday morning. We've got the cash rate for the Aussie. So they're not forecasted to change this. Unlikely they will. If you look historically, they very, very rarely give us a shock. Yeah. So if it's in black, it means we got what was forecast. Obviously, red and green is not what was forecast. We're going back to 2023. The last time they gave us a shock. I don't think there's going to be a shock coming up here at all. So difficult to tell what's going to happen with the Australian dollar. The Aussie and the New Zealand pairs react very oddly to interest rates sometimes, especially the New Zealand dollar. So I suspect we will get some movement. It's more than likely we're going to come back up and do these propulsion gaps. So I would say, I mean, if you look at this Aussie CAD, for example, it's just sideways at the moment, isn't it? So there's more upside than there is downside. It's not, you know, it's a beautiful market structure trender. So, you know, there's very little you could do with this pair to get into trouble. Pretty much take any extension you like, wait a week and you'll be out. So really doesn't matter where you go. The moment we're slightly bullish. We've got more propulsion gaps to the upside than the downside. So as long as that news comes out as expected, I don't see any reason why we shouldn't be pushing. It's just taking a long time to get anywhere at the moment. So sideways. Aussie dollar Swiss, we just about got an extension on that on the hourly. Just about this morning. Beautiful 3-bar reversal just gone in, and there's a 3-bar reversal going in the other way as well. So we're in a range at the moment. So got 3-bar reversal there into a 3-bar reversal. So a bullish 3-bar reversal immediately followed by a bearish 3-bar reversal, which means that we are range bound. So we're not going anywhere at the minute. Lovely weekly support coming up at ADR. So if we can get an ADR hit to the downside today, very good looking long opportunity on that one. But at the moment, as I say, we're not really going anywhere. Very, very sideways week. Very hard to bank last week. Aussie dollar yen, we're moving down at the minute. Strong yen. We've got a strong yen overall at the moment. So, it's very hard to call the yen. Again, I'm not really getting involved in the yen. I haven't been involved in it since the intervention. So when that intervention hit, I had a couple of tries at trades. They worked out, but they were very difficult to make work out. It's very, very hard to forecast direction on the yen because they're increasing interest rates. They're falling in line with the rest of the world. They're way behind, but they are increasing interest rates. It is no longer a safe haven for carry trades. So although it is still a carry trade, yeah, the swaps are still positive, meaning that if you buy this, they will pay you to hold it. So the carry trade is still there, but as you can see, the banks and institutions are no longer doing that. So it's very hard to pick what is going to happen to this now. I think the yens are going to start to fall in line with other currencies in the fact that they are just going to become something else we can trade reliably in both directions. We haven't had any major issue that has caused a very big sustained safe haven run yet. So it's hard to tell if this is still being used as a safe haven. I suspect the Swiss franc is going to benefit a lot more now from those. So with all these yen pairs, I don't see any reason why you can't trade in both directions. Obviously, just bear in mind if you short it and you get stuck in it for a few weeks, it's going to cost a lot of money. So I'm not really interested in shorts, just long onlys. And obviously, as it's very strong at the moment, those are the riskier trades to take. But pound odd has just hit ADR. Weakness in the Australian dollar. And we've also got strength in the pound this morning as well. And in the US. That's interesting. So pound odd, ADR reversal opportunity. We're just breaking out of last week's high now at ADR. So we've got this high, which has been holding very, very nicely. We've just invalidated that. So it could just be an exhaustion move. Although market structure, as you can see, is bullish. So that propulsion gap to the downside about 125, 150 ADR, somewhere around there. A good target for an ADR reversal. Obviously, all this stuff down here as well is still on the cards. This might be the Australian dollar selling off ahead of tomorrow. So again, temporary move, but drop down M15. You're not going to have a reversal alert for ages. It's all the way down there. So you kind of want some accumulation up here so you can get a nice tight reversal alert on it, or wait for some kind of 3-bar reversal pattern for a short, but there's a setup there. Aussie Swiss, Aussie yen, I've just covered. Aussie New Zealand, again, hard to tell with this one. I'm trading this. It's not my favorite pair at all for position trading. Pound Swiss ADR as well. Another opportunity there. Definitely got a strong pound on this morning. There's a gap down actually as well. So it's just a gap fill in play. So that may not get anywhere. So good opportunity for short there as well. Bit tighter on the reversal alert on that one. So yeah, Aussie New Zealand, I've decided to trade this. This historically in back testing, this is not a good pair for position trading because it does go into quite strong multi-week squeezes like this. They always play out. So the reason I've put it into the portfolio is because I'm not using any drawdown control automated at the moment on it. So over the last couple of months, it's been fairly stable. And I think this is partly to do with the commodities being fairly stable. So I'm using it at the moment kind of because I needed to get as many pairs traded as I possibly could, and I needed exposure on the New Zealand dollar, and this one really is the only one available that hasn't got confluence with other New Zealand pairs. So it's really the only choice I had. When it goes into a squeeze, though, it tends to go into a big, strong one. So it can be a bit of a pain to hold for multiple weeks at a time. So at the minute, we're bang in the middle of sort of no man's land here. It's obviously been very stable. We are retesting these lows, which held last week. We've broken up and down and rejected again. So it looks to me like a nice looking short back down into here and probably breaking down. But we'll have to wait and see what happens with that interest rate tomorrow. So just waiting for an extension on it, really, on the hourly. Don't care which way. It just needs to get extended. As you can see, the last entries were here. You'd be hard pushed to get on that spike, but you would have been in on that, which played out very, very nicely. And then we've had a couple of extensions down here as well, and a short up there. So it's not going to give many signals, but they are pretty reliable most of the time. So at the minute, looks like a nice little short opportunity, but obviously if we do break through this area, we'll be heading back up to retest up here somewhere, this previous monthly level. So you got sort of 3 ADR of movement to the upside if it doesn't break down from where it is. Aussie US sideways at the minute. Again, last week everything was sideways last week. Coming down this morning, we got a weak Australian dollar ahead of the interest rates. We've got last week's low, which is exactly where we are now, so potential long bounce off of last week's low. We've got the 2-week low and the 3-week low in this propulsion move here, which are all adds. So you've got support adding in there, and then obviously the whacking great support down at 125 to 150 ADR. But very, very sideways. And you can see the trades I've had on this, nice and easy, 2 entries, straight in, straight out, basically. So no reason to doubt it will continue to do the same thing. So just waiting for an extension really on that one. But good looking opportunity if you want to take a manual position trade from where we are kind of about now. You can go with a buy stop above the high, and if it comes down, it obviously just drag it down. But it could well bounce here and come back up 125 ADR and test last week's high, which is that previous monthly level, which it's already tested multiple times. So potential that kind of movement. CAD Swiss, totally sideways. Again, the Swiss franc and the yen pairs, very, very, very similar. So if you look at the CAD Swiss and the CAD yen, yeah, price action not very different on either of these. Again, a lot of confluence. So at the minute, Swiss franc likely to weaken, meaning that we've got the interest rates dropping faster than expected. We've got the inflation figures forecast to drop 0.5%. So all negative Swiss, meaning that the CAD should be able to rally against it. The problem with the CAD at the moment, obviously, is oil prices and Trump. Trump really, really, really stifling the Canadian dollar at the moment with the tariffs. They've put reciprocal tariffs on, but they basically don't need as much out of Canada as Canada needs the US. So not going to be good moving forward for the CAD either. So you've got a bear against a bear. When you get a bear against a bear, you get no movement. So at the minute, there's no real reason for either of these to rally. However, Trump could come out this afternoon and say, do you know what? Second round of tariffs on Canada coming out on Wednesday. We're okay with them now. And all of a sudden, the Canadian's up here. Yeah. The Swiss, however, has no reason to rally at the minute. So that would be the most probable thing to happen. But again, he could double the tariffs on Canada, and that'll happen. Yeah, this is why long-term forecasting of anything at the moment is just pointless, because it's basically the orange Cheeto demon opening in his mouth is what drives this market, not the fundamentals of economics, which is what always has driven the market. So Your guess is as good as mine. Support resistance will hold as long as support and resistance will hold. If it gets to support and the market starts to buy it and Trump opens his mouth, support has got no impact whatsoever. Technicals are always trumped by fundamentals. Fundamentals at the moment are trumped by Trump. So, yeah, it could go anywhere. But obviously, propulsion areas are where they bought from. So those are the buy points at the moment for longs. But again, there's no extensions at the minute. We are just sort of flip-flopping around. So we'll see where we go. CAD yen, again, all the yen's pretty much the same story. We've got a lot of strength in this yen at the minute, and there's no real reason why that should wane. So we should carry on strong on the yen. How it gets there is up to it. You've got a long opportunity now out of propulsion. So this is a pretty good looking long on the CAD yen. But again, that Canadian dollar in trouble at the minute. So you get a big strong move on the yen at the moment. It's going to take advantage of that against the CAD and the US at the minute. So you got a lovely propulsion add back here at 125 ADR. So we know there's buyers sitting there. This weekly level here obviously is where they started the buy 2 weeks ago, and then we've got this massive propulsion move which they added into as well. So you've got longs at 225 ADR. You've also got longs at 100 to 125 ADR today. So we're also extended on the RSI. So entering here is okay. Entering here is probably better if it gets there. And then you've got a scaling down into propulsion, and failing that, you've got the 3 week low. So lovely opportunity for a long, second long, and a third long position there. If it gets all the way down to there with no pullback, you're going to get a beautiful retracement of 50% on it. So good looking longs on that one at the minute, and obviously you get paid to hold it as well. But everything's got the caveat of Trump opening his mouth and completely changing everything. So Swiss yen, pretty much the same. So this is the one that I'm trading. I'm long only on it. Not quite got a signal on this. If it pushes down today any further, I will be getting into this long. It's a lovely, it's just unfortunate. It's a lovely level where it is now. It's a previous monthly level, but that propulsion gap is where I'd like to see them get to an ADR today. If we can get down to there today, I shall be in that, I think. We got support coming up here as well. So this is where basically the sellers were in control. They got overwhelmed and flipped long. Now we've got buyers in control at 125 ADR. So that's a really good long opportunity as well. And then you've got all this chop, which is going to be hard to get through. So yeah, it's a really good looking long opportunity now. Dropping down low time frames. You can get in on a reversal alert. Oops, which is there. It's a shame we didn't get a lower low down here, because you'd actually be in on it there. But there's your moving average cross entry. So there's a nice entry opportunity down there. It's just not quite extended enough yet. You know, I'm being super cautious at the moment. I really want a good extension on it. There would have been a lovely short there, just about there. But apart from that, there haven't been any 75s, 25s. See, I don't know whether I should use 70-30. Trouble is, every time I say, oh, shall I drop down to 70-30 because I'm not getting that many signals, that's when it starts to go nuts. So listen to my own advice. Just sit there and wait. Euro odd. Beautiful position from shorts out of this propulsion. We've got another propulsion gap at ADR today. And then obviously they've got the big one here they added into at the start of the move. We're not quite getting the extension, but if this pushes today and breaks that high, we'll probably get a pop. So that'd be a good looking short opportunity on Euro odd. The Euro CAD got out of this last week, so there was an entry there, as you can see, and an exit in propulsion. That was a 1 ADR profit. Again, don't know which way this one's going at the moment. The euro, very, very hard to predict. It should be bearish with what's going on. Interest rates coming down, inflation starting to roll over, bearish. Everything should be pointing at dropping the euro. Yet we had that parabolic move on Trump's tariff announcements. And now car imports are 25%. That's the major export from Europe. BMW, Mercedes, got Volkswagen, Porsche, pretty much every car brand under the sun that isn't Japanese comes out of Europe. Now they're 25% more expensive everywhere in America. So again, bearish. The defense spending, borrowing is what's driven this. I really don't know how that is going to affect this. Everything that we're seeing now with this squeeze on the euro has never been seen before. You've never had two parties fall out like this. Yeah, we're huge trade partners, and then suddenly Trump goes, "Don't want to do it anymore. Screw. Let's tear up the last 70 years. 70, 80 years worth of trading, and we're going to do it different." Nobody has traded through anything like this before. You cannot have a precedent for it. Therefore, you cannot predict it. So whether the euro is going to be bullish or bearish from this, the market certainly thinks they're going to have to spend a lot more and borrow a lot more, which they think is going to drive the euro up. But it's very, very hard to call. So as you can see, the pullback on that has worked out beautifully. I got out at pretty much the peak. Always. So you've had your retracement on it. So if we are going bull on the euro, 38 to 50% retracement area is where we would buy it. So there is potential for, I think, it to come back down into 61.8 into this propulsion. So there's a possibility, I think, of that type of move before we take off, if we take off. But again, the Canadian is being affected, the euro is being affected. This move here was caused by Europe needing to basically the options purchases in Europe going through the roof because they now suddenly need to spend billions more on defense, which they haven't got. So they've got to borrow it, coupled with the fact that the Canadians' economy was crushed by Trump. You get the CAD weakening and the euro strengthening at the same time to degrees we've not seen before. You're going to get a parabolic move. That's it. Yeah, but it's over. So what's the next Trump? That's what's going to decide where this is going from here. If Trump turns around and goes, do you know what? We don't really want to put all the car tariffs on there. That is going to help that happen. Do you know what, Canada? We need your electricity. You'll be back down here. So it's very difficult to predict. But it's a nice short extension. But that was a lovely long extension. Yeah, I mean, it's all still playing out, isn't it? But you've got to factor in the fact that you may well be getting moves 2 to 3 times the norm at the minute. So risk reduced, exposure reduced for the time being until we can see some normalization coming in. But Euro CAD at the minute, there's targets to the upside, there's targets to the downside. This could go absolutely either way, couldn't it? So you just got to get in, hold on with these types of ones at the moment. Euro Swiss, I've got 2 buys on at the minute, 2 longs. So yeah, just waiting for some movement up. As you say, didn't we do anything last week? That was just sideways last week. So I've been sitting in it, waiting for it to happen. So buying out of here, looking for a push up into propulsion. ADR is 47. So my target is somewhere up here, 175 ADR roughly. So yeah, longs on that at the moment. Obviously, the danger is we're just going to return to origin on that move. And, there's no reason for that to be massively bullish still. But there is definitely a reason for the Swiss to be bearish, which obviously means bull. So, yeah, let's put some more tariffs on cars, Mr. Trump. And drive that Swiss franc through the floor. Euro pound, have longs on that at the moment. Got 3 longs on this one at the minute. 3rd one taken last week. Back down here. So yeah, just scaling into this on the pullback, waiting for a pop up to the top. Propulsion gap target to the upside. So my average is here. Basically, I'm at break even on it. So I'm looking for a push up into there. There was obviously the same thing with this one, a return to origin on the original move. So yeah, we'll wait and see. It's either coming down to retest where it took off from, and market structure is potentially going to be bearish down to new lows, probably back down to here somewhere, or we are just pulling back for a new leg up. to come and retest these highs. So very, very tricky at the minute. Potential symmetrical triangle formation at the minute, and we could just sit and contract around here for a week or so, but we'll see. So I've got longs on at the moment on this one, back out of here. I think first entry was taken there on that extension, and obviously we just collapsed straight down. News again, Trump. Yeah, it's just this is the trouble, and this is the trouble with all indicators at the moment. No indicators will work consistently at the minute because they are not really measuring normal price movement. Everything that you have, ADR, RSI, any stochastic, CCI, moving averages, they are all being affected by Trump spiking for no reason. Market hanging around for a day or two, undoing that move. You're going to get odd readings on all indicators because you're going to get odd price action. Don't forget, all these things are doing is telling you what historically has happened on a chart. You can see what's happening on a chart. So, you need a reason to get in. And I want to get in as a mean reversion trader after it's gone somewhere. Yeah, so it's still telling you the same thing, but the markets are not doing the same thing. So they have moved for different reasons than accumulating positions to take profit on them. They've moved because they're scared. It doesn't mean they're going to take profit on them. And this is where mean reversion sort of fails when you've got these types of market conditions. So, but then again, you can't trend trade that, can you? Because it doesn't pull back either. So you can't trend trade it because there's no pullbacks for you to get in on. If it doesn't mean revert, it's just going to sit around. So the only thing you're going to make money out at the moment is breakout. Yeah, but it's only going to break out erratically at times which Trump deems it breaks out at, which you can't forecast. Yeah, almost impossible to trade anything at the minute because it's just so crazy, isn't it? But it will all work. Yeah, the market will always mean revert at some point. It has to, because it cannot just continue to go parabolic. It's not going to work out in the same sort of time frames, I think, as normal at the moment. So hence holding stuff for longer periods, which means it might be more costly on the swap side of things. So just be careful of those yens. So yeah, longs on that, looking for a push up into propulsion, waiting still. Euro yen, we've got same sort of thing with all these yens. Very, very, very strong movement off of the back of the intervention. There's no way I can trade this. The swap cost $26 to hold it overnight. It's not an option for me. So that's why I'm trading the Swiss yen. So totally range bound at the moment. We're up at the highs of the range. We've had a reversal alert go in. We've got a lovely downside propulsion target on the 4 hour to aim for. We're making lower highs. So yeah, I mean, yen is stronger than the euro, and I don't see any reason why we shouldn't be coming back down into here. However, obviously the euro is going to be affected by what goes on with these trade tariffs. So Japan at the moment, untouched. Yeah. So they're not getting anything at the minute, which is good. Why do you think that is? Because everything in America is made in Japan and China. Although they obviously want more out of Japan. Electronics, everything that goes on in any car or any device you have, some of it comes out of there. He's not going to tariff that at the moment, heavily anyway. I think there's a good chance that Japan could come out of this as a very strong mover. So potentially good movement to the downside. You had lovely signals last week. You had entries there, and obviously all had some kind of mean reversion out of them. So lovely one there. So yeah, good for shorts at the minute. You've got a long opportunity coming on the 4 hour at the moment and on the hourly as well, but that's really because we're just basing around sideways. So I'd be much more interested in shorts than longs. So reversal alerts to the downside. However, just be aware if you get into it and you're stuck in it, it's going to cost you. Euro New Zealand. Got out of those shorts obviously after the squeeze. So we had there's about 38 retracement on it. It's more than that actually. Just over 38 retracement. That propulsion target to the downside was the first real area I was looking for it to get to, and it didn't get to it. So I'm glad I got out. But yeah, so again, Euro New Zealand, very hard to call. The commodities just sort of baselining, euro all over the place. So you got a short entry out of here right now. today. So looking for it to mean revert a portion of that down into there if market structure is going to continue long. If you get into it here and it doesn't hold, you'll be getting into second position up there. And then you're looking for a mean reversion on that. And this is forming a potential pattern. Does anybody know what pattern this might be forming? I have talked about it before, and it's a rare one. To do with superheroes? No. Wears a black cape. Is anybody still there? Yes. Evil nose. So potentially forming half a Batman. Yeah. So this is the right cowl. So you're looking at a scaling up to a double top, and then a strong push back down to origin of the move. So this is a good level to get in short. If this isn't going to form a Batman, then that's fine. You're just going to sell out of propulsion here, and this is going to become a lower high, and you're going to put a lower low in. If it does become a Batman, you get in there, you average into that, and you pull down. So yeah, good looking short opportunity where we are. We're extended on the hourly. We've got backup propulsion gap, which they added into there. So yeah, so that was the propulsion move that broke the structure. They then added more size in here constantly. Eventually, everybody that was trying to break through that long flipped short, and off we went. Big ad went in there, which we added to this morning, and now we're back at again. So this is either going to hold and you're going to get an M pattern reversal there, or it's going to fail, and that propulsion gap will be the next area that we'll look for some strength at. It doesn't have to double top, yeah, somewhere around there for the next potential move down, but nice long-term pattern. Tell us about your new schedule. I haven't got it yet, so I'm planning to potentially do 2 streams a day again, like I used to, an afternoon session and a morning session, but keep them both very short. I'm already over. This is the trouble. So I want to try and keep the sessions to 45 minutes. I've been on an hour already. Yeah, we're only halfway through the FX pairs. So it's difficult. I need time in the day to do work. What I class as work is system development, testing, all that sort of stuff, coding work as well. And that's, if I do 2 streams a day and they end up being 2 hours each stream a day, that's half my day gone. And I don't get anything done. So I'm toying with the idea of it. So what I might do is morning sessions, about an hour, do FX analysis and obviously trading the open. Speaking of trading the open, long now on the DAX. So I stopped out that DAX, and I'm just double stop out on the DAX today, unfortunately. So still up on the morning, but not very good. Haven't stopped out yet though. So this is the, it says the 5. This is also the 30-minute range high break we're on. It's going to stop out. Gone. So double stop out in the DAX. So just cut the percent up. It's all right. Live with that. SIH, I'd imagine, is in trouble this morning. Yeah, double hedged again. Why have I got a trade on the S&P? It's a manual I took on Friday. I forgot to close it out. Yes, forgot about that. We got a gap fill as well today. Um, oh, I'm just going to put a buy stop in down there. Buy limit down there. Just want to scale into that and try and get out of that this morning. If I can. Forgot about that. I was doing other things on Friday and I totally forgot to start the order. Never mind. Yeah, so that's my quandary at the moment. I don't know what to do about the sessions, so I'm leaving it as it is at the minute. Simple as that. I'm stuck in the US dollar yen. Have we already discussed it? Nope, haven't got there yet. Morning, Mumo. So yeah, Euro New Zealand, good looking shorts. Euro US dollar, not really doing an awful lot at the moment. So didn't really go anywhere last week. Yeah, we're exactly where we started last week. So again, the euro, everything says to me we should be undoing this move. It's struggling to undo it, isn't it? This is market shock. This is market waiting to see what happens next. It doesn't really know what to do. So we need some announcement from Trump to undo what he's done, i.e. play nice with us and help with Ukraine and stuff. But he's getting frustrated with Putin because he was obviously going to sort everything out and he hasn't been able to. So very difficult to call what he's going to do with the world at the moment. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But everything says to me that should be coming down. But it's very hard, isn't it, to call. So I would just wait for a signal. Don't just get in for the sake of getting in. I'm out of obviously all the mess from the move. So exited all of the Euro US. I'm holding the pound US short still, which is basically the same trade. Because I think it's still got a good chance of mean reverting this at least back down to the previous monthly highs. And so coming down and finding some support down here. But, it could just collapse all the way back down again. We've no idea what's happening with the US dollar at the moment. No one has. So Euro US is just sort of basing sideways. So 4 hour, you had a long on it last week, which, it's played out slightly. You've had sort of 3/4 of an ADR movement out of it, so not really a lot to make money on. But if we can get a nice push up into here, going for a lower high, I think if they sell that, there's a good chance we'll break that low at some point in the next week or so. But we'll see. Nothing on that in a minute. Pound odd, yeah, out the highs at the minute. Australian dollar on its knees. We are just attempting a breakout of those highs. So push down into propulsion when it does come back down again, if it is going to be a failed breakout. We are making new higher lows gradually though. So this is a very, very, very subtle channel that we're in to the upside, but not really very strong. So again, mean reverting it, assume that you're going to put a higher low in somewhere down there when it comes back down. It's not extended at the moment, so there's no opportunities really to get in short. 4 hour, you have got an extension just starting, but it's a breakout. So 80% of breakouts fail. So you got an 80% chance of this coming back down into here this week. So we'll see what happens. But obviously the same thing with this pound move and the euro move. They're both doing the same thing. So Evil PC crashed was about to say that, to be honest and selfish. About to say that, to be honest and selfish. A 45 to 60 minute sessions would also help in case of missed lives. We need to catch up later in the evening. Yeah. 45 minutes is perfect, though I do like your rants. Yes. But this is the trouble. When you're doing a session like this, where people are asking questions and you're interacting, it's like having a conversation. Conversations don't have a set time period. Yeah. Someone wants to go into detail about what a propulsion gap is. It's not something you can go, it's a blue box. That's not the answer. The answer is complex. So you can't limit the time, which is why I have a load of content out there that people can go and watch about specific subjects. But it's difficult to limit the time. So I'm trying to get them to 45 minutes. But I think what I need to do personally is come up with this is what I'm going to do, this is how long I'm going to spend on it type thing. And that's the end of it. So with the opening range breakout strategy, it's very simple. After the first 30 minutes is in, we've got the ranges we're going to trade for the day, and that's it. Job done. So it's over, isn't it? By 8:45. We've either had a break of the 30-minute ranges, we haven't traded them, we have traded them, we've made our money, or what? Something's always happened within 45 minutes. It's the FX that takes longer. So it might be that Mondays I spend 1.5 hours, the Monday morning session. The Monday afternoon session is 30 minutes, limits it to 2 hours a day, which is what I'm trying to do, limit it to 2 hours a day. And then the rest of the week, there's no FX analysis. We'll look through ADRs, we'll look through RSIs. If there aren't any, fine, we'll just trade the open. And then if anybody wants to look at specific FX pairs, we can do that. And then we can talk about other stuff, but try and keep it. I found a little timer, which I'm going to put up, which is basically going to ping at me after 45 minutes. That's what I'm planning to do. So I haven't really got a finite plan yet. I like the timing as it currently is. What, forever? Yes, I just talk. I agree, Franco. From Lee's Waffles often comes some very good discussions. Yeah, that's what it's all about. You said you stopped out on DAX today twice. Why is your dash show profit? Because I made profit on the FTSE. So shorted the FTSE, down to target. Right. Pound odd. So yeah, pound odd sideways. We just covered that one. Pound CAD very much in the middle of nowhere at the moment as well. Huge move against the Canadian dollar. Pound strengthening up at the same time. So loads and loads of downside targets all over the place. This is where I would look for a lovely sell if we can get one. There was an opportunity for shorts last week, which didn't do anything on Friday. That is where I'd like to short it up there. Get a nice big strong extension up and then straight out of it would be lovely. This is basically a double add short here. So I like the look of that as a short area. But yeah, don't know. Pound as well at the minute. I think we've got another 2 interest rate drops coming. Where and when, difficult to say. And if Trump does any more tariffs, we're stuffed in the UK. Our economy is not going to be doing well. It's not doing well. We've halved our forecasts for economic growth. So yeah, bearish pound. But again, no bullish CAD. So bearish pound against bearish CAD equals that. Yeah, there's no reason to go anywhere, is there? So any RSI extension, I think, is good on that when you get one. This pound Swiss speaks for itself, just going sideways. If you get an RSI extension, you had one there. Long it. There's a short there. There's another short somewhere in here and there. So yeah, just shorting it, but only 70-30 is working. If you're waiting for 75 pluses, you had one entry there and you had one entry there. And you had a long out of that. So, you know, you're not going to get many signals on this at the moment. The Swiss is probably going to remain bearish. I don't think the pound is going to remain bullish at all. So again, sideways. So range highs and lows. Look at the weeklies. Yeah, as soon as you get to a weekly high or low, just short those. Basically, you've got a very high probability of it, if it does pop its head out the top, not getting very far. If there's a news event that screams out through the top, it's coming back down again. So it's a lovely thing to trade at the moment, the pound Swiss. Very similar to the euro Swiss. Yeah, obviously the euro had that big move, but look at what the euro Swiss does normally when the euro is not having a panic about military spending. It does the same thing as the pound Swiss. Again, pick one. I'm not trading both. I'm trading the euro Swiss. I'm not trading the pound Swiss. Trade whichever one you want to. They both do roughly the same thing. The euro Swiss, I'm not shorting because it's too expensive. And the pound Swiss, again, very expensive to short it. So there we go. Pound yen, again, strong yen. I want to long against the yen myself because of costs. This cost $40 to short it. Not interested. This is one of the few that is getting close to the intervention move. So targets to the downside. It's slightly bullish, oddly, because the pound has been very strong, but I don't think it's going anywhere but down. But you have got a long opportunity there. So I would be looking for a pullback like that. So if you're going to long this, look at getting out before we get up to these highs, potentially. But yeah, it looks good for a long right now on the hourly. 4 hourly, I think, is also extended. Yeah, almost. Just about. Beautiful weekly low rejection going in here. Look at these lovely wicks going in. This looks like a lovely long, but I would kind of look for something like that. Nothing more aggressive. Pound New Zealand out new highs. Again, same as the Aussie New Zealand. This is coming up into a weekly high. So good looking short opportunity. This is ADR as well. So we're just about to get an ADR alert on this. It's a bearish divergence as well. I can't draw this morning. Yeah, bearish divergence at resistance after a propulsion move for 4 days. Good short. That's a really nice looking short opportunity. Higher time frame resistance. You haven't got any. This is all-time highs, not all-time highs, but yeah, it is all-time highs. Sorry. I say all-time highs for the last few years. We're going back to 2015 here. So yeah, we're at highs here. So again, when you get a breakout of highs, market tends to stagnate. You know, when there's no upside resistance, you stall at some point. Yeah, so it will push through there and it will get a pop if it gets through there, and then it will be going, right, where now? And there won't be anybody wanting to sell up there. There we go. There won't be many people wanting to sell up there because there's no reason to sell. There's no limit orders placed up there. There's no iceberg orders placed up there. So we're basically moving into price discovery, which means that the market will just keep going until it exhausts. And when it exhausts, it will take profit. And this is why 80% of breakouts fail, because they just collapse. There's no interest in the other party at the top. So yeah, lovely looking short opportunity there. It's quite expensive to short it. It's quite expensive to long it, but and an RSI extension with divergence at resistance. I mean, it's got everything. So you can drop down M5, wait for a reversal alert on this, which will be going in here, and that is also going to be an MA cross. So this is now the new high gone in. So, you know, you might get a move of half an ADR at the top. There's no news, is there? We've got Euro news coming in this morning. Bavaria's in 2.3 on a previous of 2.4. North Rhine is in 1.9 on a 1.9. So it looks like the CPI numbers are coming out as expected, ever so slightly missed. So North Rhine monthly is 0.3 on a 0.4. Saxony is 2.5 on a 2.3, so that's up. So you got some up, some down. So it looks like it's going to come out as a kind of as expected. We were 0.4 forecasting a 0.3. We're probably going to get about that. So I don't think you get much movement on that euro this morning. So yeah, good luck opportunity there on the pound New Zealand for shorts. Pound US dollar. I've got shorts on this at the moment. Quite a nice move down. There we go. So that's rejecting again. If we can break Friday's low, the next test is this propulsion move. If we break that low, we're going to flush. So yeah, holding this, looking for a flush after the weekly low goes. So if we can get down towards that, get an ADR hit to the downside today on this, there's a 3-bar reversal going in now. Look on the 4-hour time frame. Obviously this candle's got another 38 minutes to go, but push, pause, pull. Yeah, beautiful 3-bar reversal pattern. It isn't at a high, so I suppose it's the weekly high, isn't it? So kind of is a high. But yeah, so this 3-bar reversal holds. If that low breaks, we're going to flush down. It's really struggling at the minute to get down. So after the propulsion move up, we added into this last propulsion move. We couldn't really find any height, and we're struggling to get down basically. So market wanting to hold this level. So if we do break that, it's going to come and flush back down into the monthly highs, and we're going to retest this propulsion gap. So there's a load of room, which is why I'm holding this. I've got some fairly decent size on this up here. And this, I was hoping was going to break last week, and they brought it back up again. I held it. But if we break that, it's going to get back all my losses pretty much from last month. So this is my kind of home run ticket at the moment. And I don't see any reason why this pound should be bullish after what Rachel Reeves said last week in her statement. There's no reason to look bullish. And then Trump came out and hammered that nail in, didn't he? With the car imports. Yeah. It's the main thing we export to the US, cars. He's put 25% tariffs on us. We thought we were going to be a bit immune because we gave him an invitation to go and see the king. But obviously that wasn't enough. So anyway, so yes, holding that resistance, which is good. So we'll see if that can hold today for shorts. New Zealand dollar CAD, not really going anywhere. These New Zealand pairs are very weak at the minute. The Canadian's very weak as well, but nothing last week. We undid the move there, and it's just bang in the middle of kind of nowhere at the minute. So not doing anything, no signals to do anything with it. So just leaving it. Nothing much you can do. It's totally sideways. New Zealand Swiss, same thing, sideways. I'm out of the longs from weeks ago. So out here on that move, 4 positions. Just up, down, up, down. So you've got a long opportunity right now with a nice support at the weekly at ADR. So yeah, that would be the play today, but it's not quite extended enough. I'm not trading New Zealand Swiss either. New Zealand dollar yen pushing down nicely. Again, same as all the rest. Strong yen. We've just put in a lower high, and now we're putting in a lower low. So pull back into here for a new leg down potentially, or it could just collapse down. New Zealand's got we got the Aussie news tomorrow, but I don't think there's any New Zealand news this week. No. So there's no news on New Zealand. So the Aussie move tomorrow is the only thing really that's going to act as a catalyst to move the New Zealand dollar this week. So this is all going to be about the US, about the yen. Well, US basically, and the yen. Yeah, continuation to the downside. Don't see any reason why that should be bullish, but we'll see. New Zealand dollar, US dollar. Again, US sideways last week. Commodities weak. So any kind of strength we get out of that US is going to hammer this, and it's being hammered at the moment. Look, it's all about the US dominant currency by far. So it's just, you're looking basically what is the US doing here. It's either going to push or pull. So I'm looking for it to come down into propulsion. Basically, that's a good area to buy from. By the time you get down there, you've got a nice extension. So that would be really where I'd look to get in long. I'm not trading this at the moment. I'm trading the Aussie US. I think, yeah, traded the Aussie US myself, which is the same thing. So if you look at that chart there, you've got accumulation, push down into accumulation, and then you look at the Aussie US, it's the same thing. Yeah, so I'm trading the Aussie version of that. So same, just waiting for extensions. You got a nice weekly level coming up just shy of ADR today, which you might find some buying at. We've had it there before, but we've also got this propulsion. So this accumulation break here failed. So this is balance, price discovery, failure, back into balance. So we know that this balance here could not go higher. So the next thing should be an attempt short, which means that we'll be coming down into these propulsion gaps. So that'd be a lovely place to buy it from. US dollar CAD, totally sideways. Again, these two having a massive Barney. Neither of them are strong. Yeah, Trump's destroying the US economy, and he's destroying the Canadian economy. Therefore, if you're destroying two economies together, you don't go anywhere. So again, this could change this afternoon. It could change in an hour's time. But US at the moment looks like we've got some bullish price action coming through. I suspect in anticipation of the tariffs coming in, the next round of tariffs this week. But obviously, this could all change very, very quickly. So, so I just wanted to see what the profit was up to again. 3.4. Okay. Right, US dollar CAD. Yeah, not going anywhere. Extensions either way on that one, really. US dollar Swiss, as you can see, I've got longs on. This I got into and I've been holding, and I'm still in. I have had an exit opportunity multiple times on this. I took some of it off because it looked like we might be coming back down again, and then I added it back on again. And since I added that last position here, this propulsion gap has held. All week I watched this thing go. It's the most frustrating P&L I've ever seen in my life. Basically went break even, no. 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 That's all I had all last week. I was watching this thing go green, red, green, red, green, red, and I was like, I'm not taking it. And then Friday, it came back down and ended up in the red. And then this morning, we obviously had a gap down, which is now undone. So we are holding this propulsion. This level's got to hold. So I do not want to see an ADR hit on this today. If we do see an ADR on this today, I'm tempted just to stick another one on. It's a bit too close, a bit too aggressive, but I would have a stop on it. But if we can break this weekly high here, so we've got a weekly high here, we've got last week's high here, and a 3-week high. So there's a 1, 2, 3-week high, all within quarter of an ADR. Yeah. If it breaks that, we're off, and we're definitely coming up to test the previous week's high up here. In fact, I think it's a little bit higher than that. No, that is it. Yeah. So it's that is where I got my target, as you can see. So this propulsion gap, basically, we broke down through that low. We retested. We added more size. That's where the sellers are. That's where I'm getting out. That is a beautiful move. And again, it's going to make me a nice lot of money. We're looking at 890, which is 2 ADR, roughly 1.8 ADR, which is a very, very healthy profit. Again, going to get some of that loss back from the last month. So these two positions, the pound US short and the US Swiss long, are kind of my home runs at the moment. They're high risk because it's this. So I am basically double exposed on the US, but I can't see how the US, rest of the US government, Senate, people are going to let him carry on doing what he's doing. I think he's got to calm down, he's got to pull back, and he's got to realize what he's doing potentially long term to the economy of the US, and in fact pretty much the rest of the world. And I think someone somewhere has got to pull a string and go, stop it. There doesn't seem to be anybody with any balls to do that at the moment, but when that does happen, if we are going to see a rally in the US. Yeah, this move's going to get undone. This is what happened the last time he came in. The last time he came in, the stock market had a terrible move. The US dollar had a terrible move, and then it pumped. So, there's a good chance that could happen. But, he's coming this time and upset world order. He's completely changed relationships with Europe. They're not going back. There's no way Europe are going to turn around and go, don't worry, we'll forget everything you've just done. It's not going to happen. So we've now got completely independent Euro-US trade relations. And he's doing the same with everybody else. So something's got to give somewhere. And it's either going to be that or that. And I can't see the US giving up its status as the world's leading currency. But, this is a very odd situation we're in, isn't it? So, but yeah, looking for a pop. US dollar yen, even if we do get a pop on the US dollar, that yen is still very strong. So more rangy action, I think, on this one. So I would only look to long it. There's a beautiful long right now down here, although you've missed it. I know you haven't. So 15-minute reverse alert's just gone in. We had one this morning. You just got a reverse alert there, and then it came down and invalidated it. So there's your W pattern. Yeah, we just put a new high in there, and we put a lower low in though. So we got an expanding wedge, which is volatility expansion. So that could go either way. But looks like a good looking long. Hourly RSI extension, lovely wicks to the downside. Look, beautiful rejection at the previous point of buyers. So the buyers rebuying this level again, push back up into there. Good looking long. There we go. Gold through the roof. Look at that. Weak US. Right. Any reason why you don't trade stocks 50? No. I've never looked at it. I don't think I've ever had a broker that's got it. It's a very rare thing. Stocks 50. I don't know. Don't trade it. Test it. If it moves in the same way as the other indices, it's tradable. As long as it's got volume, that's the thing. Did your FTSE buy activate? My one did. Is that because of spread? No. Maybe because you spread, I guess. Yeah. Morning, outro. All good here, thank you. Right, there we go. Done diddly done. So I'm going to get on with stuff this morning. Loads of stuff on my list. So SIH is my main focus, and also another strategy that I'm trading, which is this one. I am working on this as well, which is another really good little strategy, which is a breakout strategy. I thought I set that to 75. Did I not? Oh, I changed it to 100, didn't I? Yeah, want that. Sorry. Yeah, so basically I've got loads of coding stuff to do and strategy development stuff to do. So SIH is my main focus this week, is trying to get the logic changed on the SIH. The SIH strategy is really good. It's got its downside in the fact that it has issues where we get very strong multi-ADR days. So what I'm looking to do is put into place a stop loss exit strategy with the SIH and retest it. So I'm not going to change it just for changing its sake. I'm going to change it if it needs changing, and I find that there is a better way to trade it, basically. So all I'm doing is recoding the SIH to have new functionality and test it. If the testing comes out that it's not really any help, then it won't be implemented. But what I'm thinking of doing with this is actually recoding SIH completely. Now that I've redone ORB version 2 in the way that it's been done using, I haven't got any trades, but the partial profit take lines, what I might do is recode SIH on the opening range breakout EA logic so that it just takes one trade a day and not two. And it has a partial take profit line. Yeah. So it's going to be easier to use, basically. So there's a couple of bits I want to do on the SIH, really, but the main thing is the stop loss exit strategy, which I've been implementing myself, which has worked very well. Last week we haven't had any choice; it just didn't do anything last week. It was rubbish. It's just a case of waiting for the market to do something, i.e. move, like it's not doing today. So that's what I'm working on this week. So I may release a new version of this, and I may release an update of the existing version. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it yet. But either way, I might release a brand new version, the same as the opening range breakout logic, and also update this one. So there's a choice of either or. But I'll wait and see. I've got to do some testing at the end of the day. That's the upshot. I need to test it, see if there is an extra edge in what I think there is an extra edging. And if there is, brilliant. If there isn't, don't do it. Come on, pound US. Keep collapsing. I did not have a FTSE trade, but we'll have to check the settings as well. Paul didn't get one either, no. You're going to have different trades, basically, depending on spreads, depending on brokers, depending on ADR readings. The logic is the logic, yeah? The EA does what the EA does. It will do different things based on the data that you have. Yeah, so your ADR readings will be different to mine. Your logic will be different to mine in lot size calculation, because you'll be at different stages in the loss recovery cycle to me. Somebody said the other day in Discord, it traded the Nasdaq. I asked it to risk 50, and it traded, or I asked it to risk 15 or something, and it traded 50. You had 2 losing trades previously. You've got a loss recovery factor in there, so it's trying to recover your loss for you, which is increasing risks. It's doing exactly what it should be doing, but the logic is there to do loss recovery. So it's not going to take exactly the same risk every trade. If you look at my previous trades here, I've got a FTSE with 33 lots, and I've got a FTSE with 11 lots. I've also got a FTSE there with 45 lots. I've got a DAX with 1.6, another DAX with 1.6. Yeah, so this is all these lot size variations are to do with the loss recovery logic. It's trying to recover your losses for you. Yeah, so it isn't going to take the same risk every time. But difficult to explain. Morning, Elevated Trading Hub. You're late. I'm just about to go. Right, I'll be back tomorrow morning for member stream. Member stream tomorrow, we're just going to do the same stuff as we're doing at the moment, which is obviously we'll trade the open, we'll go through the FX analysis, we'll look at what's gone on with the Australian dollar tomorrow morning. And usual stuff. I haven't got anything else really to discuss specifically, so if there's anything members want to discuss, let me know. How was your week last week? Busy? Got some of the jobs done? I got the affiliate program done anyway. So if you want to become an affiliate now, you can do. There's an affiliate program. You want to help me sell some more EAs? Lovely. Don't sell many. But yeah, and I've obviously got I just got a load of web stuff done, and I got a load of coding stuff done that I wanted to do, but I didn't get half of what I wanted to get done, if you see what I mean. So I've got loads more work I need to do. So yeah, that's this week. I was almost going to take this week off as well, and just bash through it, but I'm going to try and keep the streams short, he says, having been on for an hour and 40 minutes. Yeah, see what happens. Oh, that's interesting. We have a lot of customers. What do you mean? Oh, what, for the affiliate program? Yeah. If you've got a lot of customers that might be interested, earn yourself 20%. Should I need to register for the affiliate? If you want to register as an affiliate, you can do, yeah. But obviously, if you send a load of traffic my way and you're not registered as an affiliate, I'm not going to know you sent the traffic. You're not going to get any money. That is assuming you get some sales. So yeah, but That's I haven't actually. I've tested it myself, obviously, to make sure it works. But I think 2 people signed up as affiliates last week. But somebody asked me, basically, it was something that was on my to-do list, and then somebody actually asked me, one of the members, I think it was, asked me last week about it, and said, you should have an affiliate program. And I said, funnily enough, that's on my list. And then I thought, screw it, I'll do it, because it only took like 4 or 5 hours. It's a plugin for WooCommerce, which is the cart system that I use. So it's just literally a plugin. So I plugged it in, set it up, job done. So tick, one thing came off the list. The list is still very long though, my list. To do Monday. This was last Monday's to do. This is the sort of thing I write myself. To do on Monday. Create a mean reversion strategy to complement the breakout strategy. Yeah, so just create a new strategy that works. Get a scalping system together for the position trader EA. Yeah, just make another one of those. Sort out the set files page on the website. Haven't done it. Redo the homepage. Didn't do it. Add more content to the other EA pages. Haven't done it. Do the manual and set files on the website, not MQL5. Haven't done it. Create an FAQ section with videos. Haven't done it. Yeah, so that was last week's to-do list. And then I've got SIHEA, Position Trader EA, Portfolio Dash EA. And I've also got another product which I've half created called the Ultimate Dashboard, which is absolutely amazing. And I love it. But I haven't done that either. So, yeah, a lot to do. When's your next non-member session on YouTube? Wednesday. So normal sessions back now. So I need to take that down. I need to take that off. So yeah, normal, back to normal. Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays. Wednesday afternoon is the next normal, and Friday morning. Can we use your advertising material? I haven't really got any advertising material because I don't advertise. You can make your own. There is some content, I think. Is it Portal? Would it Portal? I don't think I'm an affiliate. I don't think this will work. No. So there is some imagery up there, but it's only imagery. So basically all I've done is I've put up, you basically get your own link. You know how affiliate programs work. So you can use any of the content on the website, any of the imagery, use what you like. Anything on the website, and obviously just make sure you put your link in. That's how it works, affiliate programs. Would 100% recommended becoming a member? All right, yeah. We can make our own for your EAs when you approved it. Yeah, you can do. Yeah, if you want to make your own advertising material. I didn't hear on your list. And time for your decompression, relax time. That's after work, Franco. Decompression, relax time is about 5:30. Actually, about 4:30. So I go to the gym every day at 4:30, building up the muscles. And I go spinning at 5:30 for the cardio. So that's my decompression time. And then sitting down in front of the telly, doing absolutely bugger all in the evenings. Maybe you can consider to limit the 2 short lives a day, but on 3 days a week. That is also something that I have considered doing. So having 2 full days off. So only streaming Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. That is one of my options. So the trouble is the members streams, I kind of want to give members, supporters of the channel, something. So I kind of want them to have a session. At least 1 session a week, which is basically where we just talk about more stuff, and go into more detail about stuff. So I'd love to be doing just Monday, Wednesday, Friday, But I don't have a problem doing every day if I can keep the stream short. That's the thing. That's the hard part. Good man. Lee, you ever thought about doing a live event meetup? No. There's not enough people for a live event meetup. That's basically be a piss up, wouldn't it? But no. No, I don't really want to do stuff like that. It's not really me. Not really that sort of wanting to meet up type person. I like sitting in my little office doing things. We could fill a bar. You probably could, yeah. What we should all do is have a live stream on Discord where we can all talk to each other and have pints. So that'd be a virtual pub meeting. That'd be good. Maybe a Friday afternoon virtual pub meeting. That's worth considering, isn't it? Looking into. Right, I'll leave it there today. Anything you need, let me know. I will be back tomorrow morning for the member stream. Yeah, everyone wants to do that, don't they? Let's all get drunk on a Friday. As long as you're not trading, do not trade drunk. I've tried it. It's not very good at all. Demo, fine. Don't do it on real money. So yeah, back tomorrow morning, live stream for the members. We'll just discuss as and when, whatever, tomorrow morning. There's nothing actually planned specifically. I've got new strategy that I've been trading now for quite a few weeks, which is doing extremely well. This is another account I just set up, which is just a small money account to trade a new version. So this is a strategy that I'm probably going to release as an EA, but it's not going to be a strategy I'm going to teach. It's an EA. It will just trade and it will do what it does, but it's a secret. So that's one of the things on my list, was to develop a mean reversion version of this. This is a breakout strategy, and I want a mean reversion one to complement this so that the two will work together. So if the market is rangy, this one won't work, the other one will. If the market's explosive, this will work, the other one won't. Yeah, so the two of them use the same risk profile, meaning that whatever the market does every day, one of them makes money. So I've got to get that bit done before I do this bit, and I'm looking to put them both into a single EA, which basically is just designed to make money whatever the market does. Yeah, I'm going to start covering a little bit more of that in the member streams as well, but it's got a lot more work to do. So, but it won't be ready for tomorrow. Okay, have a good day. Anybody needs anything else, let me know. I'll be in Discord. Hopefully you get a nice session this afternoon. Bit of a duff today. So not a lot of profit, but hopefully we get a bit more movement this afternoon. And be wary, obviously, if you have any Aussie exposure on, because tomorrow morning we've got the Aussie rates coming out. I don't think they're going to change, but just be aware. So bank Aussie before tomorrow morning if you've got any profit. And those Euro CPI figures, looks like we're still waiting for a couple of states to declare, but it looks like it's going to be a dud as well. So it's all about non-farm this week. All right, so have a good one. I'll see you in the next stream. If I don't see you tomorrow, have a good day.